Hey team, welcome to the introduction for privileged remote access. Now, privileged remote access is an extra license from a Delinea perspective, but you're going to be able to use the ability to remote into any of your machines where a privileged remote access server is installed. So if you're trying to RDP or SSH from outside of the environment without a VPN, without being on the domain, you can use privileged remote access to do this. The way it works is it just uses a privileged remote access server to broker these connections. So let's say you're sitting at home off the VPN, off the domain, you log into Delinea, you choose the credentials that you want to launch or the machine that you want to launch to, and when you hit the launch button, selecting remote access, you'll be shot straight through to make sure that you can have a connection into the environment without any hassles. Now, it does open in a browser, which is slightly different to the regular launcher. The regular RDP launcher opens RDP on your machine, but this one will open in a browser. So there are a little bit of different limitations of copy and pasting is a little bit weird and file transfer is a little bit weird, but there's settings for all of these that we can define in policies later on. Now, these machines are a bit beefy and they're Linux machines. The tutorial is pretty straightforward. They've made this pretty easy to install as well. And the same as distributed engines, we want to talk about a little bit of redundancy here. So the main thing to consider is wherever you install the privileged remote access server, it's going to need 3389 RDP and port 22 SSH to the machines that you want to access. So just think about it like any other connection. If you had your laptop in the environment, would you be able to go ahead and SSH from the location of the privileged remote access server to the machine that you want to with the network configured the way that it is? So making sure that those ports and connections are opened up. And what that means is that if you have multiple sites, for example, so you have data center A and data center B, you might want to put privileged remote access servers in both of these environments, creating two separate sites within Delinea itself and adding two privileged remote access servers in each environment. The reason for this is redundancy. If you're relying on the privileged remote access servers within your environment to do RDP and privileged access, and it's the main form that you're using it for because you want to get rid of your VPN or you want to do something else, then making sure that these servers remain up is super important. They are pretty beefy too, so you're going to need a lot of resources for these machines, and making sure that the resources available is also important because you don't want to time yourself out and not be able to get access during a busy time. Go ahead and watch the next video to follow the steps. Once again, similar to the distributed engines, if you need to install multiple sites and multiple engines, just follow the steps over and over again. And in the document, there are some design details similar, again, to the distributed engines about how you would design this.